In 2020, I became a victim of image-based sexual abuse and also voyeurism. So I was filmed without me knowing in a sexual act, which was then sold on the internet. And today, I think we're aware of at least 15 million views in places that we found it. So it was a real life-changing experience, as you can imagine, for me, and something I'll never fully recover from. I think the only way to describe how I felt at the time was unheard, completely unheard, and I felt like no one cared. The one thing that I found really hard to comprehend wasn't so much what the individual had done, because I was obviously horrified by that misjustice, but it was also the fact that platforms gave him the space to do that. I always say that he hung me up on a wall naked for the world to see, but why was he allowed to hang me on that wall? Like, because the owners of the wall let him, right?
It's not just a wall in someone's, in a porta cabin somewhere. It's like, it's a wall that millions of people can then see you, and the abuse you suffered becomes entertainment.
Yeah.
The data shows us that 1 in 7 young women has been threatened with intimate images being shared of them, and I've seen cases where there's those images that exist of people are used to pressure them into doing other things, and used in cases of exploitation, and unfortunately what we had, certainly when you fell foul of this, was that it just seems to have been totally normalised, that should just have happened.
Yeah. I don't think people really understood like the shame and the damage it causes to someone's life until recently, when like more people have obviously been speaking about it. But like you said, it can be used for blackmail, it can be used to keep you in an abusive relationship that you don't want to be in. I see that a lot with young women, and their partners use it to stop them from leaving.
So, I mean, the consent is the thing, isn't it? You never consented.
No.
I think it is quite hard, and I'm quite old compared to you, Georgia, and I'm the mother of teenage boys, so I'm very alive to this issue. It is much more commonplace and widespread for the use of intimate images to have just become totally normalised.
Yeah, and it was so hard at the time, Jess, because like I could see it out there. People were sending me the link to the videos. So I was trying to contact these platforms, and I was saying, look, please, this is unconsented. Like, I need you to take it down as soon as possible. Like, the quicker I could have got it off, the less spread it would have got.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, if they answer me soon enough, then maybe certain people won't find out and it won't go as far as it would. And I was just getting automatic replies saying like, we'll come back to you in the next 3 to 5 days. And I was like, I don't have that. Like, I just need someone to help me. Like, how are they allowed to do this? And I remember thinking, one day I'll be involved in something that means that they're not allowed to do this.
As you know, you and I have spoken about, there is plenty of fake intimate images of me that exist online. So unfortunately, it could happen to anybody.
Yeah. And it's awful, and I'm sorry that you had to experience that, because it's
the worst thing is like most women, we are taught to just expect bad things to happen to us, and that's the thing we've got to stop. We shouldn't any longer just accept that this is one of those things, and it's very easy for people to go, oh well,
yeah,
it's one of those things, especially women who put themselves in the public eye, like you should expect it.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely not. And even if they're fake, I've seen them and they're so realistic.
So
and it's
realistic.
Still so degrading, it's humiliating, and it's just completely misogynistic to make a woman look like that. It's not okay, and I'm really, really glad that that's included in the legislation, because deepfakes is something affecting so many women that people just don't even realise.
We've got to make sure that when women don't like what has happened to them and they go to the platforms, whether those images are images that were filmed secretly, whether they were images that they took themselves, or whether they were completely and utterly fake images that were created by the technology that exists today, all of that will come under this new legislation, under the arch of intimate images. Well, you and I have worked together for some years now, Georgia, and you see the new government has a huge amount of priority on ensuring that violence against women and girls in all of its forms is really considering that we do whatever we can to tackle it. And so, you know, one of the sort of first acts, I suppose, is now our intention to change the law to ensure that the sharing without consent of intimate images online will become a priority offence. And so hopefully making the priority offence, which the government is about to do, will mean that without consent, the platforms are compelled to take that stuff down. Do you think that that will make a difference?
I think it will make all the difference, like 100%. If the platform knows that maybe they're going to lose a percentage of their annual turnover, then they're far more likely to invest in better compliance to ensure there isn't unconsented footage on their platform. And I think, you know, any sort of a platform, whether that be normal or in the porn industry, if they want to be successful, they have to make sure to follow these guidelines. But thankfully now, they're going to have to, and I think it's going to massively change how many victims there are and how many people are taken advantage of on the web.
So what do you hope for a young woman growing up now, a girl in secondary school? How do you hope that this change will mean that what happened to you will be different for her?
Well, I just think it means that the platforms are going to have to clean up their acts. Some of them are already doing it anyway, but now the ones that couldn't be bothered or didn't want to fork out the money to do so are going to have to. And I think a lot of them will probably employ human people to run 24/7 phone lines where, you know, if there is unconsented footage, they can immediately get through to someone and get it taken down. Or hopefully there'll be technology that's now implemented on most of these platforms that will prevent it getting up in the first place. So.
And so for you, the sort of feeling when you were trying to get this stuff stopped, and you couldn't, and you're like a young woman just trying to get this stopped, what we have to hope for, I suppose, is that, and it will take time for a culture change to happen from legislation. It doesn't happen overnight, but as the law plays out and fines are made or criminality is seen, eventually, like you say, they'll create the tech. Well, do you feel proud of yourself?
I do, a little bit.
Yeah, you should.
I feel grateful to you as well.
Well, no, the level of gratitude that I think that people who come and tell their stories in order to make change are made to feel, when actually your main emotion, if you don't mind me telling you how you should feel, is pride. You should feel proud of yourself for speaking up, because actually in your situation, the risk of you speaking up about the subject is the potential to make your abuse even worse, because people might then go and look for it. So
yeah. I think for a young girl who is struggling with getting anything down, this will change it so that they do feel heard and they do feel cared about, because, you know, if they're not, then there's going to be consequences.
It's not just about making sure that somebody responds when someone picks up the phone, so they don't have to do it when the threat is initially made.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to make a lot of change, and I just think it's so important.